It's me again, Oscar.
Hello, Kate Walker.
Why aren't we setting off, Oscar?
I must abide by regulations. Your ticket, please, Kate Walker.
Don't think for one moment that I'm bored of you, Oscar, but I have to go.
I also have much to attend to, Kate Walker.
Here, this is your stupid train release ratification, Oscar.
Thank you, Kate Walker. That is perfect.
It's me again, Oscar.
Hello, Kate Walker.
Why aren't we setting off, Oscar?
I must abide by regulation.
Don't...
I also have much...
Right, everything is in order then. The train is finally ready to leave.
I am most terribly embarrassed. Such ignorance on my part is inadmissible. I hope you still have confidence in my abilities, Kate Walker. Please return to your seat and we can leave.
Finally. Where are we, Oscar?
At the halls of residence of Barrockstadt University.
And do we really have to stop here?
The situation is incompatible with the pursuit of our journey.
What are you waiting for then? Wind them up, find a way. There must be some sort of train winding thing just laying around in this weirdo station.
I have seen nothing that fits that description, Kate Walker.
I guess we'd better find out then.
I do not like this station. The atmospheric humidity is detrimental to my sophisticated wheel workings. I will wait for you inside the train.
Wimp. And to think that when I first became a lawyer, I was worried I'd get stuck behind a desk.
Is something wrong, Kate Walker? Is the restaurant car service not to your liking? Would you like another pillow?
Don't worry, Oscar. Everything's just hunky-dory. And you are just hunky-dory, too. Oscar, there's no way you could help me find a way to wind the train back up again?
Rust awaits my every movement if I leave this train, Kate Walker. And what would you do with a rusty engine driver?
Not a lot, I suppose. Oscar, I think that Hans Vorarlberg once stayed in this town after he left Valladolid. Maybe this wasn't a chance stopover after all.
Nothing is left to chance in a railroad network.
You agree with me then?
We have no concrete proof to support your hypothesis. The train stopped because the clockwork mechanism is unwound. That is the only concrete evidence we have, Kate Walker.
I was just hoping for a little imagination on your part, Oscar.
No, Kate Walker. I am only an automaton, Kate Walker.
This train might be a wonder of technology, but the engine's limited autonomy is a liability. You got to admit that.
I am afraid I refuse to entertain this consideration, Kate Walker.
Oscar, we have a serious problem. How can we carry on our journey if this train doesn't want to budge? What are our options?
Every clock has its key, Kate Walker. Keep looking.
Well, I hope you're right. I'm gonna go see what I can find. Oscar, see you later, alligator.
In a while, Kate Walker.
I don't need that for the... Thing looks like the winding machine I used in the Valladolid station. I've got to find a way of getting the train up here.
Kate Walker! Kate Walker! Come over here, please! I have something to say to you!
Yes, Oscar, what is it?
A message has arrived for you.
A message?
You have been summoned to see the rectors. They are the highest authority at the university. They want to talk to you.
Talk to me?
Yes, to the person responsible for the train.
So, I'm in charge now, sure, okay. But why would these gentlemen want to see me at all?
They do not say why, just that it's very important.
Everything okay,
Yes, Kate.
You should take a look around the station, Oscar. It's amazing. Greenhouses that are all lit up, exotic trees, and thousands of birds of all different colors.
I am obliged to avoid exposing my wheelwork to corrosive bird excreta. I shall remain inside to monitor the locomotive.
Of course. Well, too bad for you. This train might be a wonder of technology, but the engine's limited autonomy is a liability. You got to admit that.
I am afraid I refuse to entertain this consideration, Kate Walker.
Oscar, I think that Hans Vorarlberg once stayed in this town after he left Valladolid. Maybe this wasn't a chance stopover after all.
Nothing is left to chance in a railroad network.
You agree with me then?
We have no concrete proof to support your hypothesis. The train stopped because the clockwork mechanism is unwound. That is the only concrete evidence we have, Kate Walker.
I was just hoping for a little imagination on your part, Oscar.
No, Kate.
Oscar, there's no way you...
Rust
And to think that when I
is
don't... Oscar?
in a while.
Hello.
Hey, baby, you party? You sure looking mighty fine. Love those big round eyes.
Just who do you think you are?
Hey, spunky. I'd like that in a lady. Okay, I'm hooked. Come on, Zol. I'll let you buy me that coffee.
I don't remember ever asking.
Hey, don't play hard to get. I know you like it big time.
Listen, kid. Go back home and play with your toy cars and forget you ever saw me. Excuse me. Can I disturb you a second?
No,
You could be a little bit nicer about it.
keep quiet. In case you haven't noticed, we're somewhere that requires silence and tranquility.
Good day to you, gentlemen.
Tell me, young lady, to what do we owe this pleasure?
Please do be brief. We do not have very much time on our hands.
As rectors of this university, we have serious matters to attend to, and our time is precious.
I have heard you wish to meet the owner of the train that is currently in your station. May I know the reason for your summons?
We are surprised that your train has not yet left, miss. The situation is most regrettable.
The rules do clearly state that trains are meant to come and go and not remain stationary at a platform.
Trains should first stop, then subsequently leave. That is the rule.
We agree then, dear colleagues, that what we're dealing with is deviant behavior.
This matter really is cause for concern.
It's a clockwork train, you see? So it needs winding up again. Unfortunately, there is no equipment in the station to do this.
A clockwork train? That's strange.
How very quaint. You mean it's some sort of mechanical toy?
You are causing a hindrance to us, miss.
I am very hopeful that I will find what I need along the wall.
The wall?
Miss, that really is not a suitable place for you to go.
Especially for a young lady.
You see, miss, we freely admit that every day we praise the existence of that particular edifice. We owe the integrity of our dear university and the fine education it provides to the wall.
It protects us from harm and invasion from the unknown.
May God protect us from what is beyond those ramparts, miss. Please believe me.
I don't have any choice. I must continue my journey.
Such a decision is a correct one since it's in line with regulations.
Thus, your train will indeed be able to leave.
And consequently cease to obstruct our station.
I haven't introduced myself. My name is Kate Walker.
Walker, haven't we already had a Miss Walker? Ethnology Masters, September 1953, if my memory serves me correctly.
Perfectly well, my dear colleague. But if I may be so bold, it was a Mr. Walker and not a Miss. It was Bill Walker, sat this June 68 exams. The impudent fool turned up for the oral assessment in jeans, flouting strict internal regulations which explicitly state the required uniform for the occasion.
Pure incitement. It was scandalous. Sadly, we have seen worse since. Young people lack all respect of traditional values.
Tradition, young lady. One must always uphold tradition.
Can you possibly help me out here?
Miss, your insistence is almost verging on indecency.
We cannot constantly be at your disposal. We have many other requests to attend to.
If you don't mind, could you not disturb us all the time? Thank you.
Does the name Hans Vorarlberg mean anything to you by chance?
Ah, one of the brightest, most idealistic intellects to have graced our university. Hans Vorarlberg. I remember speaking to him once. I was still a student at the time. He just stared at me, lost in thought for a while. He scarcely ever said a word. But how can one forget him?
Idealistic? I'll grant you that. But bright? Oh, don't go too far. He was completely incapable of passing any exams. All he ever did was to sit in on lessons, and not many of them either. Paleontology, mainly. He had an unhealthy passion for mammoths, which matched the state of his intellect perfectly. That is to say, prehistoric.
Prehistoric? How dare you? A little far-fetched, maybe. But he did have flashes of intellectual brilliance, comprehensible only to high-minded scholars who hold no score by appearances. My dear colleague, your hasty conclusions are somewhat cavalier.
My assessment is wholly accurate. The boy was a little odd. You must concur if my father, who was rector of the university at the time, had not shown great indulgence towards him. Hans Vorarlberg would have never attended this establishment.
What about the bandstand, then? Is that the work of a deranged mind? Even after all these years, you are still jealous of it.
My dear colleagues, I beseech you, let's show some decorum. We have a visitor. What do you want with Hans Vorarlberg, miss? Are you a member of his family?
No, not at all. I'm looking for him to clear up an inheritance matter. Is he still here?
What? Here? At the university? No, not at all. He left a long time ago. Yes, a very long time ago. The very year I was nominated to this position, in fact. Almost 50 years ago already.
The poor soul moved on once he learned all he needed to know about mammoths.
Ah, this establishment was never quite the same after his departure, it must be said.
You mean to say it was never as bad? All that oddball brought to this university was his misplaced fantasies.
Gentlemen, let's try to retain the calm and level-headedness that befits our position.
Excuse me.
Miss, we find ourselves terribly put out by the presence of your train in our station and by its recurrent immobility.
Indeed, the situation is very regrettable. Your huge locomotive is very cumbersome.
A train should first stop, then subsequently leave. That is the rule.
That idea of the station aviary is really very original.
It's the pride of our university. One of the specialties taught here is zoology, you see, and more particularly, ornithology. Proper study and instruction should not be limited to books. Observation of living matter is indissociable from theoretical questions.
It contains some very rare specimens that have been brought back from faraway, exotic countries, especially for our university, by the world's most intrepid explorers.
Do you remember Alexander Valenbois and his peculiar bird?
Absolutely. His gift produced some very embarrassing long-term consequences.
A poison chalice indeed. It must be said the situation could have been much worse, however.
Oh, yes, it could have been terribly problematic.
You wouldn't know if there is any Forest Sauvignon here in Barrockstadt, would you?
Absolutely.
When he says absolutely, he means, of course, absolutely none.
What we mean, of course, is that we are absolutely positive there is no Forest Sauvignon here in Barrockstadt.
Really? Are you sure? Because I read in a book that Barrockstadt possesses a number of plants. I wouldn't mind getting a hold of some if possible.
Out of the question, miss.
The assistant rector means to say that our priority is for you to remove your train from our station. Your research will have to wait until your next stop.
Yes, that's right. Your train must leave the station immediately, so please refrain from wasting our time in needless visitations.
Don't forget the regulations, miss. Don't forget them. Trains should first stop, then subsequently leave. And quickly!
Here we are, busy chatting, and look at the clock. It's tea time.
Already? My word, doesn't time fly by?
Thank you for a charming visit, miss.
And thank you, gentlemen.